Hello, ArcTech. This is Heather Newton reviewing your entry in the Social Deduction Challenge, Furrenzy. Let's first start by looking at your hero image and logo up at the top. I think you've done a good job of using a attention-grabbing image, and even though really the whole image is just pretty much the name and the name again, you've got a little bit of variety in here by having texture in the background of the big background image, whereas the overlay image here is just a PNG with a transparent background. So it doesn't look too much like the same image superimposed on itself, even though it has some things in common. And I like that you put some text here in the hero image to make the main point of what the game is before I ever start scrolling down the page. So I think that was wise. I think you did a good job on your cool factors over here, very specific things about your game that make your game memorable and interesting. And I think you did a good job too of stylizing, using some different bold and larger text to get certain things to stand out in your description and keeping everything brief and small paragraphs to make it easy to read. That's great. This statement here, I can address this anywhere in the rules or right now. This specifically needing an odd number of players feels like it would be frustrating for me to find a good opportunity to play it when it has those really discrete numbers needed. It just, as soon as one more person says, oh, I want in, no, we can't play until we find another person or something like that, if it's a large game night or something. I know that it's like this because you need to have partners, like animals that are partners, and then one more that's the fur trapper. But I'm wondering if you might be able to address that some other way, either by having two bad guys or potentially a way to have three animals be on a team together. All of that's hard to give really specific suggestions for without playing, but as a high-level suggestion, if you could make it so it works with 5 to 9 players, I think it would be more well received by people considering buying it or trying to bring it to a game night or anything like that, just because of that inflexibility creating difficult situations when you're trying to get a group together to play. I do definitely appreciate the idea of saying this is designed to work for a certain amount and don't try to play it in a way that doesn't work. And it's important that you're being honest about what works instead of just blanket saying 5 to 9 and then it making no sense to play it with 6 and 8. But I think there might be a way to solve that problem to make it a more consistent player range. And I think that would be a worthwhile pursuit. Let's take a look at your box real quick. I think this looks really nice. I like the texture that you've used here, and I like that you have the name of the game on all sides of the box, and even a couple of the sides of the box you have, I can't point at it, but you have the stats, how many players and ages and amount of time to play, so that's great. And I like to see the name on all sides so that no matter what way you put it on the shelf, you can see the name of the game. And these action shots are the kind of thing that I want to see for action shots with things laid out sort of as they would be while playing. Of course, I don't think when this game is played, I think all of the cards are probably face down, and you wouldn't see this until, I guess, the end when everybody reveals what they are, but that it's not just one card after another uploaded in this carousel that's automatically moving. You have just layouts of a bunch of things at once, and you've kind of shown the difference between the two kinds of cards. These are the identities, and then these are the cards that you're giving each other. One thing that I think might be kind of cool, it seems when I see fish with hair in the background, that's a little bit weird. I wonder if you could do like 3 different textures on these cards. Scales on this card, like maybe all brown colored, but scales, bark, and fur for deer. That's just a idea. And, it's not breaking anything, but I think it would be nice for the theming if you could put that in place. Or that was just a suggestion. For your rules, I think that you've done a good job laying it out with a couple of different columns and an interesting theme on your headers, or an interesting font associated with your theme for your headers. And it matches your branding from the box cover and your hero image on the shop page and all of that stuff. You're being consistent with yourself. And then, of course, I'm not going to read the rules in the video, but from my recollection of reading the rules, I'll just talk about where I was confused about how this game would work and how it would feel to play, and so didn't end up choosing it as a finalist because it was just hard for me to picture how I would know who my partner was, in what sense this game wouldn't simply be, I guess it sounds like it's pretty similar to Pit, that you need to trade quickly, and trading quickly is the only way that the bad guy, in this case the fur trapper, hides. They have traps in their hands. It's bad for animals to get traps in their hand. And of course, there's only one bad guy. What I'm picturing is the trapper, the first person that they trade with, as long as that person knows that they're the first person that the trapper traded with, or that person who is the trapper traded with, they will know for sure that that person is the trapper, unless I'm missing something. But as I visualize that does not seem good for the trapper. It's important always for the people who are the bad guys in social deduction to have a way to pass blame. And the only thing is, in this game, the hope is that everybody's so frenzied they don't notice who everybody has traded with. But it doesn't seem like it would be that hard to keep track of the fact that I'm the first person so-and-so traded with, and I get a trap. Only the trapper has traps. Again, unless I'm missing something. So that would really out them. I guess that maybe just the fact that one person knows they're the trapper doesn't mean they're definitely going to be found out, because of course there's always a lot of accusing other people of being the bad guy in social deduction that often makes you look like the bad guy if you're accusing somebody else and being really vocal about it, or it often can look that way. So I guess maybe that's what it's relying on, but I just could picture being the trapper and feeling really hopeless about my plight. And that made me worry that this game wouldn't play well if I actually chose it as a finalist and tested it out. It made it seem unlikely to win against some of the others, that to actually be the winner of the whole contest against some of the others that made finals. But I do think it's an interesting idea, and that the idea of the hand gestures, like the animal-themed hand gestures, and just crazy confusion sounds funny and fun. Some similar to, say, Happy Salmon, which I think always brings a smile to faces when I play it. So this could be on the right track. I'm not sure if social deduction is the best or most fun thing about this. I'm not sure. It's possible that this was you trying to fit an idea into social deduction for the sake of the contest, but it's also possible that this game, the fun of this game might be somewhere else, and it would be okay to get rid of social deduction as part of what's required for it. It might be interesting to think about, now that this contest is over, whether or not that necessarily is the most fun part of it and what to keep and what to get rid of. But I am very curious to see where you take this in the future, and I wish you luck in whatever you choose to do with it. Hey there, thanks for watching. Be sure to check the description for more information and links to helpful resources. Some links will give me a commission if you choose to buy, and I sure do appreciate the support. Thanks again, and see you in the next video.